Hello, and welcome to N-Scale Friday. I'm John, and I have some models here that should look pretty familiar. You'll see why when we get to the workbench. Let's take a look. All right, so here's what we're looking at today. These are N-Scale 40-foot refrigerated containers. And if they look a little familiar, well, they probably should, because we looked at these recently on a product spotlight. Only on the product spotlight, they were in HO scale. They're 40-foot high cube refrigerated containers, and on the Atlas website, they sell them in 3 packs for $44.95. These are part of Atlas's master line, and they come in 5 different paint schemes, and they're offering 2 different 3 packs in each paint scheme. So it's a total of, if I'm doing my math correctly here, it's 5 times 3 times 2. So it's 30 different containers that they have. Let's take a closer look. So as usual, I've scrutinized the paint with my magnifying visor and have found the paint and the markings, including the logo and all that, to be almost perfect. Some of the smallest writing is really hard to make out, even with the magnifying visor. But looking from any normal distance without a magnifying glass, these are excellent. On the HO scale versions of these models, obviously it's a much bigger model, and they can do things like separately applied parts like the grill. On this N scale model, it looks like they're all molded, but the paint treatment on them makes them look like separately applied parts. So looking at the door end, you can also see these molded latch and hinge and all that detail. But again, just like on the HO model, these are painted in such a way as to almost look like separately applied parts. And this writing down here is what I was talking about. I had a hard time making this out. Maybe you can see on the HD camera that you can actually read that, but I had a hard time with my magnifying visor. But it still looks really excellent. Something else I'm realizing as I'm handling these is that the floors are fairly loose on the model, and you can take them out just by sort of spreading the sides of the model with your fingernails and then tapping it, and the floor will fall out. And you can see that the floor has these little circular areas molded. Undoubtedly, those are for, magnets or some other kind of weight. And I think it's a good idea, if you're going to add weight to containers like this, to keep track of which containers have the weight in them, and always put those containers on the bottom of your double stack, or just run them as single stacks. That way you'll avoid having a load that's top heavy and prone to tipping. So taking a brief tour around the K-line container, you'll notice it's pretty much the same thing. You have superb markings. The logo is crisp and clear. The paint covers perfectly. The refrigerated end has your molded detail and the other features of the picture window refrigeration unit. Very well done. And the door end also has your molded but painted in a way as to look like separately applied pieces detail in the doors. These are very nicely done models. One last thing I want to mention about these models is that they are equipped with the IBC pin system. That's where you have a pin on the floor of one of them and then a hole on the roof of the other one. And the idea is that they will mate up so that they don't shift around once you have them loaded into your well cars. So this is what they look like loaded into a 40-foot well car. This well car is also made by Atlas, and the well car is also equipped with the IBC pins, but it looks really sharp. So as with the HO scale refrigerated containers that we looked at recently on a product spotlight, I think these N scale models also look really good. Now, because they're N scale, they can't do the separately applied parts down in the refrigeration unit area, but they still look really good, and the paint treatment on the doors also made the latches and hinge detail look really, really good to me. So good job, Atlas. I'll see you next time.